There is a lot of new content coming to Borderlands 3 in 2020, and while Gearbox is still pretty tight-lipped about the details, we do already know quite a lot that is planned. So in this video I want to round up everything we know, like new story expansions, a level cap upgrade, Vault Hunter improvements and way more. Would be awesome if you could leave a like on the video. And let's go. Greg Miller, the host of the Borderlands show, already teased that he is stoked for what Gearbox has planned for 2020, although he cannot tell us anything about that due to NDAs. But actually there's already a lot of info out there, and one of the big things that we can expect in this new year are upgrades to our characters. Gearbox already made it clear multiple times that new characters, like we saw in the previous games, are not something we should expect post-launch for Borderlands 3. What Gearbox namely saw is that people would check out those new characters around the release, but then quickly go back to their main after a while because they got more attachment to that. I mean, I can relate, although it's always fun to play a game in a completely different way with a new character that was just released, although I can also see why it would be way harder to add new characters to Borderlands 3 because they have way more bells and whistles than the characters in the previous games. Now what we should instead expect are more ways to customize the existing 4 Vault Hunters. It's only unclear if this means more skills to an existing skill line or an entirely new skill line altogether. And I think a new skill line makes more sense because adding extra skills to the existing skill trees will likely have a pretty big impact on the current balance. And I think that new skill lines can be super interesting because every one of them has an extra action skill, new augments, and in the case of Flak, also a new pet. I'm curious if these upgrades will be free though, or if we have to pay for them, like in Borderlands 2 a new character was paid DLC. I think free would make more sense because then every character is the same and you don't have different builds based on the premium content that you bought. And something that of course goes hand in hand with a new skill tree or new skills is a level cap upgrade. And during the October Borderlands show, Gearbox noted that we should not expect it anytime soon. But yeah, that was already 2 months ago. Borderlands 2 got a level cap increase on April 2nd when the game came out in September. Borderlands 3 of course also came out in September, so I totally expect a level cap upgrade in a sort of similar window for Borderlands 3, so maybe in February already or March. Maybe near the launch of a new takedown or Mayhem 2.0. I will touch on that by the way in a second. The level cap upgrade in Borderlands 2 was 11 levels. I think 10 for Borderlands 3 makes obviously way more sense. And you had to pay for it in Borderlands 2. I think they will make it free for all in Borderlands 3, although that has not been confirmed yet. But yeah, that would give a good reason to everyone to jump back into the game, grind XP and get a new loadout. But more importantly, again, it put everyone on an even playing field. I don't think you want to have like build videos or Reddit posts saying, of course to fully utilize this build you need to buy the level cap upgrades. I think that's kind of a thing of the past, and it's also why we're seeing a lot of free content coming to the game just to keep everyone playing, and 2020 will be no different. In January we will already have the new seasonal event, so comparable to Bloody Harvest that we of course got in October. I don't think that this one will be linked to a real life holiday, as Gearbox also wants to like come up with these events themselves. We will learn more about it in the week of January 20th. During the new Borderlands show, and I would not be surprised if the update and that event go live that same week too. We will also get a big 2020 roadmap during that episode, so exciting stuff. I will of course keep you up to date here on the channel. We already know the overall plan though. They want to have one big content drop each month, and it should be possible with the hundreds of people that they have working on the post-launch of this game. And it seems to follow the same post-launch plan that we saw for 2019. So first an event, right now we get one in January, then we will likely see a new takedown, so a raid-like activity. And by the way, right now, till January 16th, there's a special Molly 1 takedown event going on, where normally that raid-like activity is scaled to 4 players. Now it will be scaled to your party size. So if you had trouble like finding a group, then this activity is now way easier to do solo or duo or with 3 people, because it will be scaled again to the amount of players in the group. Totally expect a big video soon on this event and some tips and the cool loot that you can find there. Either way, we can expect more of these high-end takedown encounters in 2020, likely a new one in February, and then in March we get another new story expansion. Like, that seems to be the schedule looking at the recent releases. We will get 3 more story expansions with new loot, a new map, and new characters in 2020, and they have to launch in or before September 2020. And if they follow that 3-month release schedule, then we get the second expansion in March, the third one in June, and then the final one in September. So that would make a ton of sense. We already got the first one, of course, and the other packs should be similar. I think they will all cost the same price. So I think we are looking at the same amount of content for each pack. And they will include old and familiar characters, but also characters from the main game that we can then spend more time with, like Ava. Yes, one of the expansion packs should kind of focus on her, as Gearbox already confirmed. Let's just say that I'm going to approach it with an open mind. Beyond September, we by the way at least know that the Bloody Harvest event will return in 2020, and maybe we get something for Christmas that year with Mercenary Day. Gearbox kinda teased that, although it's not 100% sure yet. Alongside every monthly big content drop, we get many balance changes and new features, and also quality of life improvements. We should see more bank space upgrades in 2020, as they already confirmed. A big quality of life improvement is the ability to skip cutscenes for when we're playing the game on a different character or in the true Vault Hunter mode. This is of course very nice too. The recent update included the ability to skip the intro movie, but yeah, that's such a small part and should just be the beginning. Hopefully we get the rest as soon as well. More improvements to the performance are on the list, and a big one is changes to the loot drops. We of course had the dedicated loot drops recently, so that you farm a boss and then in the end get that specific legendary drop that this boss can drop. But yeah, I think you agree that the drop chances for these main story bosses are pretty low, right? And that's what I really like about the Moxxi's Heist DLC, where the bosses have a super high chance to drop their specific legendary gun. So then it feels way more rewarding to farm these bosses over and over again. And then it's way more fun to try and get that best roll and the best anointed version. Hopefully we see that for the main bosses too. What we at least know is that there will be changes coming in 2020. And more changes are coming for the Mayhem mode. Mayhem 2.0 is what Gearbox calls it, and it's scheduled right now for early 2020. I would not be surprised if it launched with a new takedown, potentially in February. We will likely learn more during the next Borderlands show. Mayhem 2.0, according to Gearbox, will include more UI support, so making it easier to see the modifiers. That would be my bet. New modifiers in general that change gameplay more dramatically. We should expect Mayhem playlist, so maybe that the game decides the farm or the challenge in a specific map. That could be pretty cool. New rewards like we saw with Mayhem 4. And I'm really impressed by the new weapons that they added with the November update that included Mayhem 4, like a ton of new items. And we of course also get more Mayhem levels in 2020. I really hope that more UI support also means that we get a specific menu for the Mayhem mode, so we can like maybe switch between the different levels on the fly, so that we don't have to go back to Sanctuary all the time. But yeah, I think we can both like come up with a ton of things that we would love to see in this game, of course. Totally drop it down in the comments down below if you want. One thing that I saw come up a lot recently in the comments is regarding the awesome hat and skins that the Borderlands stream team has been rocking for a couple of months now. Back then it was noted that everyone would be getting these hats and skins for free really soon, but we haven't seen or heard anything about that since. But yeah, I'm sure that we see it in 2020 at some point, you would think, right? They look awesome, and it's actually the first post-launch hat that that I like for Flag. When we know more about these hats and skins and of course all the other content that will be coming to the game, I will let you know here on the channel, so totally subscribe for everything Borderlands 3 if you haven't already. Like this video to support the channel. Hope you have a great new year, or if it's already 2020 in your region, then I just hope that you have a fantastic year in general. I really can't wait for 2020. I think it's going to be a really fun one. Totally check out my previous video on the best weapons you can get in the new DLC. You can watch it by clicking on the screen, or I will link to it at the end of our gamble section that Dennis and I always like to do at the end of a Borderlands 3 video. Dennis, my robot, beat your ass like last time. It was pretty
yeah.
easy. I did not expect that.
And I'm not happy. No, me neither.
So now you can pick. So it's yeah, it's a 1-0. And let's see if your robot can beat mine this time.
You know what? I'm sticking with blue.
Okay.
I'm sticking with blue.
Okay, I'm curious. This is of course in the DLC for if you don't know. Oh, I have a riot. Whoa, you have the ice one.
I think I have the same one you had last time, yeah. But this one looks way more dangerous in close combat.
Yeah. I think my riot. Why is he like not holding his shield?
Wow, that was quick.
I was like, why is he not holding his shield when there's like one person in front of him, like ice beaming him all the time? Oh.
He even dropped a weapon. You see that?
Really?
It's like a blue. I think it's a sniper rifle or a shotgun. On the ground.
Can we go get it? Oh no, I don't.
No, the door is closed.
Damn it.
Just imagine a legendary dropping there and not being able to get it. That would suck.
Well, next time, yeah, I will pick red again, and then hopefully I win. So totally subscribe for that, and way more Borderlands 3 coverage, of course. Like the video to support the channel, and we will speak to you next time. Check out our previous video on the best weapons from the new DLC, and goodbye.